cold afternoon in January 2011, a 17-year-old girl was driving her car in Medford when she was pulled over by what appeared to be a police officer. She gave him her license, and after looking at it, he said that he had seen the sticker on her license plate and figured she was a hot 17-year-old. He asked her for her phone number, which she refused to give. He then admitted that he was not, in fact, a police officer. He was just kidding. He gave her her license back and drove away. The sticker mentioned in this incident, as reported in the Kyleighs Law Interim Report from April 2011, is the reason we are here today. I would like to talk to you about the dangers of these red stickers. The sticker, also called the scarlet sticker, are part of Kyleighs Law, a law that identifies young drivers under the age of 21 with a permit or probationary license. Being a concerned parent with kids who will be driving just the next few years, and in preparing for this speech, I've done a lot of research on the pros and cons of this law, and I am confident in telling you that the cons far outweigh any benefits. I hope that when you leave today that you will agree with me that Kyleighs Law poses many dangers to our youth and that the law needs to be overturned. First, we will discuss the problems that Kyleighs Law poses, and then we will talk about a possible solution. So let's begin. The first problem is police profiling. When the law was passed in 2010, residents of New Jersey were told that this law, with the red identifier decals, would not make our young drivers targets. But there have been many claims, and as recently as October 10th of this year, Brendan Cootie, writer of NJ.com, reported a story about a police officer, Sean Prater, who sat in a high school parking lot at the beginning of the school day and pulled over anyone not displaying the decal who looked like they might be a teenager. He handed out 7 $100 citations that morning. Our youth are being subjected to traffic stops, not for their actions, but merely because of their age. Supporters say that the decals are necessary to identify those who might be violating the restrictions of the probationary license. But the problem is, not only can police see these stickers, but so can everyone else. Which brings us to our second and most important problem. The scarlet sticker is making our youth easy targets for predators and criminals. Supporters say that there is no evidence that these decals will make our youth vulnerable. But that is just not true. Joe Fallon of NJ.com hit the nail on the head in his article, A Dangerous Law. He compared Kyleighs Law to a similar law in Florida in the 1990s. That law identified rental cars with a Y or a Z on their license plate. Barbara Jensen was bumped from behind when driving one of those rental cars near the Miami airport in 1993. When she pulled over, the occupants of the other car robbed her and beat her to death in front of her 2 young children. Her story is one of 9 murders and 4,000 crimes directly related to that law. How many of our youth need to become victims before New Jersey sees the seriousness of the dangers that this law poses? In my opinion, 1 victim is one too many. Non-compliance to the law is most likely the reason we haven't seen any vicious crimes so far. Tom Hester, senior of NewJerseyNewsroom.com, reported findings of a survey conducted by New Jersey Assemblyman Bob Schroeder. That survey of several hundred New Jersey residents found that 70% of young drivers rarely, if ever, display the state-mandated decal on their license plate. The reason given? Fear of being profiled or targeted. 93% of those surveyed who had said they had a bad experience with the decal, feelings of being targeted by police, or being followed or harassed by other drivers, admitted that they had never reported the incident to police. Actions so far to overturn the law have failed because of a study done by the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, suggesting that it's possible that 1,600 young drivers' lives were saved in the first year after Kyleighs Law went into effect. The idea that a small sticker saved that many lives seems absurd, especially given the results of Bob Schroeder's survey. It is more likely that the earlier curfew and the restrictions on passengers and the campaign against texting are what aided in lowering the number of accidents. We've discussed the problem. Kyleighs law puts our drivers at risk for profiling and makes them targets for predators. Now let's discuss the solution. The state of New Jersey should overturn Kyleighs law. In this day and age, with Easy Pass and police being able to find your information with just a click of a button in their car, there has to be a better way to identify drivers without putting them at risk. Until a better option can be found, we need to focus on educating parents and young drivers. Studies have shown that parental involvement in the young driver's education actually lowers the risk of teen accidents. Parents need to be educated on the state laws and the restrictions imposed on young drivers, and discuss these laws and the importance of traffic safety with their teen. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration suggests that parents should be talking to their children about traffic safety well before they ever reach driving age. They also suggest writing up a teen driver contract, setting rules to be followed, and consequences for violating those rules. We need to be campaigning to educate parents, to get them involved in their teens' driving experience so that we're making better drivers and not putting our youth at risk for unfair profiling and making them targets for much worse. In conclusion, it's obvious that Kyleighs law is a problem. We discussed decals, they make them targets. We've discussed the solution. We need to focus on education. In the opening, I talked about the man who impersonated a police officer. That story did not have a bad ending, but it easily could have. New Jersey needs to overturn Kyleighs law before one of our children, grandchildren, nieces or nephews, or friends' lives end in tragedy. Thank you. Now we'll have time for 3 questions.
What's a probationary license?
A probationary license is a license that you get after your permit, where in 1 year's time, if you don't have any infractions on your license, you'll get your regular license. But you have an earlier curfew. You cannot drive between 11:01 p.m. and 5 a.m. You can only have 1 passenger in your car at all times, and you cannot speak on a cell phone, even using a hands-free cellular device.
Why is it called Kyleighs law?
Kyleighs law is named after a girl, Kyleigh, who in 2006 was driving in a car while she was a passenger in a car with 4 other people. The driver and her died, and the others survived, but they were violating the restrictions of the 1-passenger law. Anyone else?
How many states have this?
New Jersey is the only state that requires the decals for anyone under the age of 21. There are other states in the United States that have this law, but their law only requires new drivers. It isn't an age thing. New drivers have the probationary license. New Jersey is the only one that has it for anyone under the age of 21.